set this right here. Nobody touch it because it's going to mess up.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما ثم ما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تبارك وتعالى وخير هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وبعد. Today, inshallah tabarak wa ta'ala, in the brief time together, وَنَسْأَلَ اللَّهَ يَهْدِيَنِي وَإِيَّاكُمْ, ask Allah to guide me and you all, وأن يبارك فينا جميعا, and to bless us all, ويغفر لنا ذنوبنا ويكفر عن سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار, and I ask Allah to wipe away our sins and shortcomings, to forgive us and to admit us to the company when we die of the righteous. Ameen. Today, inshallah ta'ala, as we talked the last khutbah, we were talking about the hour. And we mentioned the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the hour will be established. The hour will be established, but what have you prepared for that hour? From the hadith that is collected in the Sahih of Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah. And so today we want to continue talking about some of the signs of the hour, and then some of the remedies that we could use in order to be more aware of the coming of the hour. Some of the things we can use to prepare for the hour, bi'idhnillah tabaraka wa ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it comes in the hadith of Zainab bin Jasr, which is from the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She said that أيقظ النبي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم وقال لا إله إلا الله. She said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was sleeping. Sallam was sleeping, and then he awoke from the sleep saying La ilaha illallah. And in this hadith he talked about Wayl al-Arab qad taraba shar. Woe to the Arabs that some evil was about to reach them soon. But remember, he was 1437 years from us. And this evil he was talking about was the coming of the Ma'juj or Ya'juj, the Gog and Magog. And many people, when they talk about this today, from the people that have knowledge, and they talk about these hours, the signs of the hour, and the hour in itself, they like to talk symbolical about these issues, such as the Dajjal. They say that the Dajjal is a government, is a superpower, while the Prophet ﷺ described it as a person. And we have to believe in that which the Prophet ﷺ he mentioned. So here, the issue of the Gog and Magog, we'll read about it from the Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, and those other books, the signs of the hour, compiled by Ibn Kathir, which is really from his Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya, his great work of history that he wrote about things from the beginning of time to the end of time. And this book is translated into English, a section of it called The Signs of the Hour. The point is that this is one of the major signs of the hour, that this would take place in the lands of those people that the Prophet was talking to, the lands of the Muslims, the lands of the Arab, the lands of the deen of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Things would change, as we mentioned before. And this is one of the signs of the hour. وقال كذلك بارك الله فيكم ماذا الحديث عن حفصة وجاء عن عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها وأم سلمة وهذا حديث متفق عليه in Bukhari and Muslim, where the Prophet mentioned Jayshu Kaaba. Now, Jayshu Kaaba, when the people come to destroy the Kaaba. And the Prophet said, يُخْصِفُ يعني أولهم وآخرهم. Now, and they will be destroyed when they get to a certain area. Bayda al-Kaaba. Now, when they get to a certain outskirts or border or right in the vicinity, before they even reach the Kaaba, Allah would destroy them, have the earth swallow them up. Like this. The earth will open up and take them. So in the hadith of Hafs, in the hadith of Musallam, they said, when we be destroyed, هل يهلكنا وفينا صالحون, will we be destroyed while we have righteous from amongst us? In the hadith of Aisha, she said, وَفِيهِمْ لَيْسَ مَعَهُمْ, and there will be people with them, but they won't be with them. So if we take these two statements, the first one, will be destroyed, the Muslims, during this time. While we have righteous from amongst us, shows that the good deeds are the thing that will save you. Except that Allah Ta'ala has already written for you to die in a certain way. But the good things, the good actions, the righteous deeds have a great benefit. They will save you. Just as the bad deeds has an adverse effect. They will ruin you. And Aisha's her statement, she said, and this will happen, and they will have people with them, وَلَيْسَ مِنْهُمْ, but they're not with them, meaning they're not of those actions. They don't disagree with them, but they're physically there. As we live today with a lot of things we disagree with, but we're in one country or one city or one state. Will we be destroyed? They asked the Prophet ﷺ. He said, إِذَا كَثُرَ الْخُبَثُ, when the sins become much, then yes, everybody will be destroyed. وَقَدْ ذَكَرَ النَّبِيُّ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ كَذَلِكَ في حديث أخرجه في بخاري ومسلم لا تقوم الساعة, the hour will not be established حتى يحرس الناس جبلا من الذهب, until the people will gather upon a mountain full of gold. وَيُقَتَلُ النَّاسُ عَلَيْهَا, so people will kill one another at that mountain, over that mountain. وَيُقَتَلُ مِنْ كُلِّ مِئَةٍ تِسْعَةٌ وَتِسْعُونَ, and out of every 100 group of people, 99 will be killed. They will gather upon a mountain. They will head for a mountain. That mountain is nothing but dhahab, gold. Imagine yourself. Outside the door appears a mountain of gold. Would you turn back around, come in, make 2 raka'ah? So that's dunya. What Allah has given is better than that. Would you rush to that mountain, even if it meant to trip someone to the right of you, push someone to the left of you? If you arrived at the mountain and there were groups of people like Black Friday outside Walmart, would you start shoving and pushing and fighting? If you had a knife, would you reach for your knife? Get back, I was here first. Stab a person. If you had a firearm, would you discharge your firearm? لِسَبَبَ ذَهَبْ وَبِسَبَبَ جَبَلْ مِنَ الذَّهَبْ, because of a mountain of gold. The Prophet said this will happen. The hour will not be established until you see this mentality, until you see this action, until you see this with the people. وَمِن كُلِّ مِئَةٍ وَيُقْتَلُ مِن كُلِّ مِئَةٍ تِسْعَةٌ وَتِسْعُونَ, and out of every 100 group of them, 99 will be killed. Subhanallah. فَيَقُولُ رَجُلٌ لَعَلِّي أَكُونَ مِنْهُمَ الَّذِينَ أَوْجَهُ, and every person that's left, or every person that goes to the mountain, he will have the intention, he will say, I hope I'm the one in the end that's still standing while everybody else has been killed, so that I can have that mountain of gold. Subhanallah Rabbil Alameen. وهكذا أخرجه في صحيح مسلم من حديث أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم لا تقوم الساعة حتى يمر رجل بقبر رجل فيقول يا ليتني مكانه أو كما قال. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned what is meant in the hadith of Muslim. And if you're not sure of a single letter or a single word of the Prophet, you should say أو كما قال, or as he said. Because if you lie on him, سواء كان متعمدا أو غيره فليقعده فليتبوأ مقعده من النار كما قال. Because lying on him, the Prophet said, you earn your seat in the hellfire. ولا يشترط يعني ماذا بارك الله فيكم ليس متعامدا بل يعني يؤكد الذي يكذب عليه متعامدا ليس له إلا النار. And the Prophet didn't give exception to the one who lies on him unintentionally. Rather, he mentioned intentionally, showing for sure that one who does it intentionally, he has earned his seat in the fire. So it is proper, on mistake or purposely, that we try not to lie on the Prophet. So we said, okay, my call, or as it is mentioned, the wording of the Prophet. The hour will not be established. Yawm al-Qiyamah will not come and appear except that these things will happen. One of them is that a man would be walking, that a man will pass by the grave of another man. He will look at that grave. Raise your hands right now if anybody wants to trade their life that they have for the life of the grave. فينا قبور سنكتب إن شاء الله بعد صلاة الجمعة. لو كان واحد أو اثنين ثلاثة. Anybody wants to go? We have a graveyard. We will go as like a field trip after Jumu'ah. Who wants to trade their life that they love so much for the life in the grave? But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said the hour will not be established until a person, until a man will pass by the grave of another man, and he will say, if only I could take his place, if only he could come out back into this dunya and I go into the grave. That which Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala mentioned, that everyone when they die they will say لَعَلِّي يَرْجِعُونِ لَعْمَلُ الصَّالِحًا فِي مَا تَرَكْتُ. Those people will say, who are regretful, who fell short in the good deeds, they will say, oh my Lord, send me back. Not for this life that we love so much now. Not for our women, our children, and our wealth. Not for good times and that which we love of entertainment, for one thing. So, oh my Lord, send me back so that I can do righteous deeds. Allah will say, Kalla. Kalla innahu kalima yuqailuha na'am. It is only a statement that you're just saying. No way. Because if this was the case, لو كان حقيقة الأمر كان من قبل. It would have been the case before. You wouldn't have to be your soul taken in the grave. Now on the day of judgment, you say, okay, Allah, send me back. Nope. So we understand the man, he wants to trade. He wants to leave the life of this world to go in the grave. As the ulama of hadith, they explain from the statements of the Sahaba, min shaddat al-fitan, because of the severity of trial and tribulation. He's tired. لكن لا يدل على أنه يجوز يعني ماذا تمني بالموت. But on the other hand, this is not a dalil, an evidence, a prescription for you to wish for death. بل نهى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن هذا. Rather, the Prophet prohibited for a person in sickness that he wishes for death. فيا أيها المسلمون عباد الله هذه الساعة يعني ساعة وهو من أمر الله تبارك وتعالى. These are from some of the signs that will come, as the hour is from the commandment of Allah. ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى التذكرة والموئذة حسنة. نسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يعفو عنا كثير. These are from some of the reminders and admonishments, and may Allah make it beneficial for us. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده ثم أما بعد فنعم الساعة. Yes, we're talking about the hour. Allah musta'an. ومن آية الساعة قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وقد بين أن في مسجد فيكون يرتفع أصوات الناس يرتفع بأصواتنا في مساجد من علامة الساعة. The raising of the voice, the raising of the people's voice in the masjid is a sign of the hour about to come. وَلَيْسَ مِنَ الْخَطِيبِ نْخَفَّفَ صَوْتَ لَهُ. It's not for the khatib to whisper loud. من آداب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من آداب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم على منبر يرفع الصوت. نعم وأحمر عينيه هكذا كما أن يعني يرى يعني الجيش عدو كما جاء في حديث مسلم. From the etiquettes of the one who's giving the sermon, the khutbah, he's preaching on the minbar, he should lower his voice in accordance with this hadith, that raising the voices in the masjid is a sign of the hour. Because Prophet on the other hand, when he gave the khutbah, he would raise his voice. He would raise his voice to engage the hearts. He would raise his voice so the people, they could hear. He will raise his voice to show the severity of the reminding the people of the meeting of Allah Ta'ala, as if he's seen the enemy or the troops coming to destroy the Muslims. He will raise his voice, as is mentioned in the narration like that, and his eyes will become red from the seriousness about the religion, because of the anger of the disobedience to Allah Ta'ala. So let us not mix this with that. We're talking about, as we taslim, everybody gets up, hey, how are you, kayf halik, mashallah, oh, bula amal what you up to, where you been, oh, I ain't seen you, like we're in the social club. أو أشد من ذلك حينما يصلون بعد المسلمين, or worse than that, when some of the Muslims are praying. It's a sign of the hour will come. عدم احترام لمسجد, the lack of proper etiquette or total respect, as we have some respect, but total respect for the masjid. وكذلك من علامة الساعة. ونختم إن شاء الله بهذه النقطة, and we will end with this point. التفريق وماذا والجدال والخصومات في الدين. Dividing, arguing, debating in the religion. كما نعلم الله سبحانه وتعالى هذا في كتاب الكريم بعد أن يقال يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. After Allah, he said, "O you who believe, O you who believe." And Abdullah ibn Mas'ud as well as Abdullah ibn Abbas, they said both, when you hear "O you who believe," yeah, is calling somebody. Ayyuhal mu'minun, emphasizing those who believe. When you hear that, pay close attention. Istima' bil udhni wal qalb. Listen with your ears and your heart. Because either Allah, after that statement, "O you who believe," is going to tell you something that's good for you, that's an obligation. As Allah doesn't tell you anything that's an obligation except that's good for you. Walau lam tara, even though you may not see it. Or Allah is going to tell you a danger, something that's bad for you, that's a prohibition, so He tells you to stay away from it. Ittaqullaha haqqa tuqatih. Worship Allah and don't give Him any shorts in His worship. And the tawheed, don't make shirk. And the ibadah, don't show off. Don't make bid'ah. This is the meaning of khutbahtul qati. This is not like فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مُسْتَطَعْتُمْ. This is when you have restraints and things in your way. Then you do the best you can. You fear Allah with what you're able to because of a circumstance. But in the other ayat, khutbahtul qati, this means give Allah His right, worship Him the way He should be worshipped. You can't have shorts in that. And then after Allah said, and don't die except you're doing this as a Muslim. This is the meaning of a Muslim. وَالْأَقْصَ هَذَا أَنَّهُ كَافِرٌ. And the opposite of worshiping Allah, the way that He said, without bid'ah and shirk and kufr. Then this is the opposite of the Muslim. اِتِقَادًا وَخَصْلَةً وَعِبَادَةً. As a characteristic, as a worship, and as a creed. This is the opposite of the Muslim. Then Allah said, which is connected to, O you who believe, the obligation. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. And I command you all to be one body upon the book of Allah. One body upon the statement of Allah. One body, even though you be dispersed, and how you think, and how you make your verdicts, and how you read the Quran, how you ponder on the Quran, how you practice the Quran. وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. And don't argue and divide over this. والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ذكر في سنن أبي داود وغيره. In the Sunan Abi Dawud, ستفترق أمتي على 73 فرقة. My ummah in this sequence in the future was seen علامة الساعة. And this scene in the Arabic language means علامة الفعل. Asif, علامة الفعل. It is a sign of something going to take place. A sign that something is going to happen. The verb. It said, سَتَتَّرَكُوا. My ummah will divide, showing there was no division in the time of the Prophet. أَمَّا بَعْدَ مَمَاتِهِ فَنَعْمُ. After he died, Allah musta'an. فَهَذَا مِنْ عَلَامَةُ النُّبُوَّةِ. And this from the sign that he was a prophet, because he said that, and indeed it happened. He said the Muslims will be divided to 73 sects. And the ulama, they mentioned this is not the had here. This is as far as it will go. This is the least amount. Is there more than 73 sects? Wallahu musta'an. From amongst the signs of the day of judgment, that arguing, debating, fighting, and those things that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has made aslud deen, that has made them a foundation, as everything has its foundation. You cannot have a house without a foundation. You cannot have a car without a foundation. You cannot have a marriage without a foundation. You cannot have disbelief and shirk and bid'ah without a foundation. وَكَيْفَ لَا بِتَوْحِيدِ اللَّهِ. Then how could this not be the case with the worship of Allah? Have to have a foundation. And if we avoid these things, if we make ourselves one body, we make our kalimatul wahid, one statement, without altering, without changing. وَإِنْ مَاذَا نُحِبُّ بَعْضُنَا بَعْضًا. If we show real love to one another, then this will be one of the remedies to keep from the disaster. One of the signs of the hour. The arguing, the fighting and debating. The arguing, the quarreling, and the hostilities. This is from amongst the signs of the hour and the remedies that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, His Messenger, has given. As for the hadith, ikhtilaf, rahmati, then this hadith is not authentic on the Prophet. Rather, it is fabricated for those who want to disapprove fighting and debating. وَنَسْأَلَ اللَّهُ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى يَجْمَعَنَا وَشَمْلَنَا وَكَلِمَتُنَا وَعَقِيدَتُنَا وَآدَابَنَا وَدِينَنَا وَاحِدٌ. We ask Allah to make our way, to make our actions, to make our statements, to make our deen one. We ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala and يَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبًا بِنَا عَلَى الْحَقِّ, to bring our hearts together upon that which is the correct thing and the thing that Allah He loves in the religion. وَنَسْأَلَ اللَّهُ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى أَنْ يُكَفِّرَ عَنْ سَيِّئَاتِنَا وَتَوَفَّنَا مَعَ أَبْرَارٍ. When I ask Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to wipe away our bad deeds and to forgive us and to make us die the death of the righteous. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا إن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكون من الخاسرين. اللهم إنا نسألك هدى والتقى والغنى والعفاف برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. سبحانك اللهم عزتي عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وأقيموا الصلاة.
You're gonna get it eventually.
Trying to be independent.
It's good. It's good. Now this it came off, so we're just gonna leave it like this for now on the saw. And then we're gonna fix it later. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Straighten your rolls, fill in the gaps, like shoulder to shoulder, foot to foot. Don't leave any gaps between your brother nor your sister. But be gentle at the same time. Don't squeeze them or step on them, but close the gaps. Please put your phones on vibrate or shut them off the stove. Taras. Sallu salatu mawadda'. Pray as if this will be your last prayer, Salam used to say. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. قل أعوذ برب الناس مالك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. Allahu Akbar.
Allah.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. السلام عليكم يا إخوان. Just a couple of announcements. First of all, the prayer times. We realized yesterday we were praying Isha 1 hour after actually the Adhan, which is a little. So Isha, inshallah, is going to be from now on for maybe a month or so, 8:45 inshallah. Fajr, 6:15. We have been praying 7 minutes after the Adhan. It's a little short for people to get here for Fajr. So it's going to be 6:15 now that the days are getting shorter. So inshallah, Fajr, 6:15. Maghrib, 10 minutes after the Adhan. Asr, 5 o'clock. Ya Ikhwan, barakallahu feekum. Wallahi, it's very important that we try and make imaratul masajid. We come here for Isha and Maghrib, 2 people, 3 people, 5 people, 2 people, 3 people, Fajr, 1 person, none. It's very, try ya Ikhwan. Wallahi, make an effort. It's very important that we try. Our presence here is important. Try to make that effort and come. Alhamdulillah, Shaykh Ukasha, wallahi, is not making any taqsir in terms of giving the ilm. He is here, he tries to give a hadith every now and then. Try to be present between Maghrib and Isha, benefit from it. And you will obviously, not only you're going to benefit from it, but you're going to get the reward as well. So ya Ikhwan, please try, make the effort and come. Also, your contribution to the masjid is very important. As you all know, there is no other funding except your funding to this masjid. So for us to be able to pay the power bill, to be able to take care of all the expenses that come here and there, and the water bill and everything else, it's really only us that can do this. There's nobody else that can provide us with any monetary assistance to be able to cover all these expenses. Ikhwan, jazakumullahu khair, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And also, we have a seminar, speaking of participation and activity, knowledge. We'll have a seminar this weekend. We will start here at the Northside Masjid today at 6 o'clock. We encourage the people to come, bring their families.